put our bat pins in there, which we keep these in that copper dish that's up there.
Right,
These
okay.
little pins.
Remember those from last
Yeah,
week.
these shorter ones, they work better on these two wheels right here. The
Okay.
longer pins, they'll kind of hit the splash pans when it's going. So I use the longer ones on those wheels and the shorter ones on these wheels.
Okay. And tell me again why you use
The bat.
that.
So you can just, when you're all done, instead of
Lift
cutting it,
it
you can
up.
just lift the whole thing right
Oh,
off
okay.
there. So get stuck to the bat.
Is it gonna center my piece quicker?
It won't center. I like it. It feels better to be connected right to the wheel head. I think. You know, it's steadier, it's sturdier. You know, these bats, have a little play in them when you're throwing, so it's nicer to be right on the wheel head. But depending on what you're making, sometimes it's easier just to have the bat. Like a really big piece that you would have a hard time lifting off. You want a bat on.
Got it.
You're gonna see why I'm using a bat in just a moment here. I'm gonna center. So when you're centering, I'll knock it off real quick so you can see. I'm just gonna be using pretty much this area of my hand is what I use. And I'm just gonna lean it into it, and I've got my arm locked into my body here. And just by holding still, as this wheel head turns around, it's gonna pull itself centered. So I'll knock it off again so you can see. I'm just gonna come in. Just by holding steady, as the wheel head turns, it's going to pull itself centered. Sometimes it's nice to take a hand and on top, just kind of karate chop almost, using the side of your hand right here. And you can sort of roll it down, and that's just going to help hold it all in place. As the wheel, as you just can hold steady, as the wheel spins, it's going to pull itself centered. And remember, you want that shiny look on the clay, otherwise you're not using enough water when you're centering. So once you've centered, now we can make the hole. Same thing, and being very steady by having both my hands that are touching each other. I don't have one here and one here, up in the air. So two hands to help keep it steady. Just go straight down. Be sure to stop before you get to the bottom. So once you've got the hole, you can open it up. And I'm going to do that. Same thing, I've still got two hands touching, keeping it steady, but I'm just pulling my left hand on the inside straight back towards myself. So we've opened it up. Now, while it's open is a good opportunity just to get any water out of the bottom, smooth it up, and you can compress the bottom too, especially if you're having any issues with cracks or anything like that. Compressing the bottom here is the best thing you can do for that. Alright, so I'm going to lift the walls up using kind of my tips of my fingers here, and this is whatever works for you. There's not like a wrong or right way to do it, but just by pressing in, the clay's gonna have nowhere else to go. It's gonna start to lift itself up. And I'm just going for sort of a cylinder shape here, because last week we did a bowl, so
Yeah.
I'll show you a quick cup. I'm using 1.5 pounds of clay for this cup. Depending where you're at, you might, to get the same size cup, if you're brand new, you might want to try more about 2 pounds of clay.
Okay.
Just going to lift it straight up into a cylinder. Slow and steady, just taking my time. You don't have to lift it all up instantly, and it won't go all up instantly. You can't ever lift it up faster than the speed that this wheel head's spinning at. So you can see how fast this is going. It takes one down. It takes about a second for the whole thing to turn. So if you just go like that, that's not enough time for the wheel head to spin around the whole way. So you got to kind of go. You always want to be going slower than what the wheel head is as far as your pulling speed. Going faster is going to mess you up. Going slower will give you the result you want. So we've really kind of stretched this clay to about to its limits. What we can get out of it. You can see it's even starting to get a little bit of a wobble, so I'm going to pull it one more time, but I'm not really lifting it up so much as I am just running through it just to kind of help straighten it out a little bit. So just got this little cylinder. I'm going to use the wooden knife tool, if I can find it, to cut away some of this clay on the bottom. I'm just going to use this edge of it, just use that edge to get the profile you're looking for. And then clean away some of this clay on the bottom here. And I'm just going to give it this slight little undercut here. It's kind of an area to sort of separate the cut from the bottom so it doesn't just run flat straight into it. I'm going to have to come back and clean that up one more time at the end. But now here is where I'm going to take the rib and just get a nice smooth wall. Which if you want like the finger lines and texture and everything, that's fine. And don't smooth it off with the rib. If you want a nice smooth wall, use the rib to smooth it off. You can use the rib to push into it and do designs and things too. So right here at the lip of like a cup or something, I like to give it this little beveled edge right here on the inside with the rib, and I'll just sort of hold it steady on the outside with the sponge, and then just smooth that out with the sponge so it's nice and round. That little beveled edge just kind of gives a place for your lip to sit, so it's not like this big round edge. It's nicer when you're drinking out of it. So from here, basically we have a cup. Looks weird on the video. Oh, it's because my phone's got a bend in it. It's the folding thing. So here we've got this slip. So I'll just show you. This is something I don't think I've shown you before, but you can just start to cover it with some slip. And really, you want to have more than not enough. You can always add more if you don't have enough. You can always take some off if it's too much. But you want to just get a whole bunch of that stuff on there. So from here, there's a bunch of stuff you can do. That's just how it looks, just putting it on there. You can go through it and give yourself little designs and things. You can do more vertical kinds of designs if you like. There's a lot of stuff you can do with just the slip on there.
Oh, I like that slip.
And that's why I'm using the bat, so I can go and just lift the whole thing off. I'm not gonna be messing with pot lifters or anything like that on this piece. So you can, if you like, you can just smooth the slip. So now it's all smooth, and from there, you can do different things like try to work the slip one way or the other. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and if you don't like it, you can just clean it off and start fresh. So you can just want a basic swirl. And now it's got this kind of fun slip swirl design.
And then when you glaze it, that'd be really pretty.
Exactly. And if you spin it really slowly, you can kind of get more precise about what you're doing. So I kind of like that. That's probably how I'll leave that one. But I mean, you can, endless possibilities. Just, if you don't like it, clean it off, put it back on, however, whatever's working for you. Let's see. And then I'll just, smooth the lip off slightly. So now I got somewhere to. Alright, I like that. I'll just clean off some of this stuff at the bottom. And then I can just lift the whole bat off, and it's done.